So that's what it is, housing. We can feed ourselves, but it's housing. That's what I got.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Ryan Oates. On Tuesday, April 22nd, the state of Massachusetts is going to conduct a sweep of the homeless encampment at Sheehy Park. LLAMA is inviting people from all over Lowell to show up at the sweep to protest. Here's why. I want to start by saying that housing is a human right. No one should have to live or sleep outside. When people are unhoused, it's not safe for them, and it's also not safe for other people that are trying to use public spaces. So if we start with our goal as wanting to end homelessness, then we could talk about some policies that help with that, and I will do that in a moment. But we're protesting this sweep because sweeping encampments is not a solution to homelessness. Sweeps simply move unhoused people to the margins of society because there are some people who have homes who don't want to see them. Sweeps don't get people off the streets. They don't get people housing. All sweeps do is interrupt people's access to services, break up communities, and further traumatize people who are already vulnerable. As a member of LLAMA, I've been to the encampment a few times, and there is a real sense of community there. There's a married couple with a dog. We've had some potlucks. We've talked about music preferences. There were a lot of dad jokes, now I think about it. There have been moments of joy. But I was there yesterday to make signs for the protest, and the tone was heartbreaking. People are gathering whatever they can put into a backpack. They're scrambling to find somewhere to go. Since not everyone is going to the same place, they're losing relationships with the few people that they do trust. And, they're scared to go to other encampments because they don't know those people. They don't know who to trust there. There's this clip of Bobby Whalen, an unhoused person in Lowell, back in 2023. And he talked about how unsafe it can feel at an encampment.
But when the sun goes down and we're sitting in the middle of the dark with our little fire that the cops come and tell us we have to put it out, and we put it out, then we're in the pitch dark. There's nobody else around. It gets eerie. That's the thing that a lot of people that aren't homeless don't get, is that the unsecure feeling that you get. You know what I mean? It's the unsecure feeling. Because I don't have a deadbolt on my house. I don't get to lock my windows. I don't get to put in my alarm. You know what I mean? I am my alarm. I am my alarm.
Hearing his perspective can help me understand how unsafe a person might feel in an encampment like this. I don't want any of the people that I met at this encampment to have to feel that level of unsafety. When we were making signs for the protest, June, one of the unhoused people, wrote on his sign, "Nowhere to go." I do understand that there are some people who are supportive of the sweeps. A pretty common argument I hear is that the city of Lowell does provide resources. If people aren't taking them, then they're choosing to be homeless. Last June, Mayor Dan Rourke gave a version of that argument.
The manager will get this motion. He'll come back. We'll have the homeless director here. We'll have the health department director here. And they're going to say the same thing they told us for the past 2 years. We ask every single person that we go talk to, the co-op team and whatnot, do you want help? Do you want housing? It's always offered, and it's consistently turned down. So what do? We offer more services to keep them unhoused, to keep them outside.
I want to tease this apart. So, the first part is that the city is providing resources, and there's actually a lot of truth to that. About a month ago, city manager Tom Golden wrote this op-ed in the Lowell Sun, and he pointed to the work that the co-op is doing. That's Lowell's community opioid outreach program. And it's done some great work with harm reduction, getting people connected with services, and getting them on wait lists for housing. A lot of the unhoused people at this encampment actually worked with the co-op team to get on housing wait lists. But they will tell you that those wait lists can be very long.
They say people lined up is loaded. Is because they have the way that who first come, first serve. And it's so much people. So you cannot even like put your foot in there.
So people are, is there a wait list?
Yes, a waiting list. Yeah, I forgot about that. There's a waiting list. You know. And the waiting list, I would die waiting for that. Okay?
It's a long time.
It's a long time. Probably when I'm like 75 years old before I get housing.
So people are trying to get housing, but they have to wait. In 2023, people with housing choice vouchers in Massachusetts waited an average of 46 months. It's almost 4 years. That's the third longest wait time in the country. There was a man in Boston who waited for an apartment for 10 years. So instead of pushing people around like this, what we really need to reduce homelessness is more supportive housing. So to circle back to the co-op program, it's worth noting that these sweeps actually interrupt and undermine the crucial health services that the co-op is trying to provide. Research from the Journal of the American Medical Association found that involuntary displacement of people experiencing homelessness may substantially increase drug-related morbidity and mortality. So when you break the trust between unhoused people and the city with these sweeps, people won't trust the government to help them. The co-op won't be able to find people. People's health will be at risk. There's another question that people often ask about the unhoused population that I think should be addressed. Why don't people just go to the Lowell Transitional Living Center? Now, I want to preface my answer by saying that I appreciate the work that everyone at LTLC is doing. I'm sure everyone there is there because they want to help. Everyone's doing their best. But due to underfunding and an over-reliance on these emergency shelters as like our only tool to solve homelessness, as of right now, the LTLC is not a safe place to be. About a month ago, there was a scabies outbreak. About a year ago, the Lowell Sun reported that LTLC is regularly infested with bedbugs, flies, and roaches, and is overrun with rodents. I've spoken with some people who live there, and they've told me that while they were there, other residents died there, and they were traumatized by seeing their bodies carried out of the building. And so I would understand why a person might not want to stay at the LTLC, and I respect their autonomy to make that decision for themselves. So respecting, again, the work that everyone's trying to do, I think we're all working together to try and solve this problem. There are limitations to the services we have right now. And we need the state of Massachusetts to invest in a holistic approach to solving homelessness. The most obvious solution would be to invest in housing first programs, otherwise known as supportive housing. This is where we provide housing for a person, and then after that, surround them with services that they might need, because it's really hard to handle either mental health crisis or a substance use disorder when you're unhoused. And so getting housing first allows people to handle those other issues as well. So if you'd like to make housing first a reality, there's a bill in the Massachusetts State House that you could ask your state reps to co-sponsor. It's titled HD 1480, an act financing housing first programs and housing for all in Massachusetts. I think this bill would go a long way to increase the supply of supportive housing so we can make those wait lists shorter and make it easier for people to get off the streets. I also took a look at a lot of the research about upstream solutions. There are actions we can take to prevent people from becoming homeless in the first place. For example, we could reduce economic inequality with progressive taxation and taxes on large corporations. And we could use that revenue to fund services that prevent homelessness. We could build more multifamily and affordable housing. And we could provide targeted supports for vulnerable populations in order to reduce their risk of becoming homeless. So we need all of these systemic changes. And until we get there, we need to let the city and state know that these sweeps are wrong. If you'd like to join LLAMA for the protest, we'll see you there at Sheehy Park, 6:30 a.m., April 22nd. If you want to keep up with LLAMA, you can get in touch via email or by phone. I'll list that information on your screen and in the description. Thanks for watching.